There's two things that keep me bullish no matter what's going on. One, it's a 10x, more than a 10x improvement over its predecessor. I'm a gold holder and I'm a Bitcoin holder. And I can tell you, having used both, Bitcoin's better in every single way. Every single way. History shows that technology, as it evolves and we head to those 10x multiples, it takes over. And the second thing is, look at the quality of people who are Bitcoiners. Look at the diversity of their backgrounds. I'm a tunnel engineer. There's people who are doctors. There's people come from all these like fascinating, interesting backgrounds, and they've all converged on the same thing, being like Bitcoin's like the best thing since sliced bread. You're telling me that all of these smart INTJ engineer types, they're all dumb and idiots? Like, no. The most bullish thing about Bitcoin is the people who get attracted to it. I'm not betting against those people. So many Bitcoiners came up and grew up in an era where the world hated Bitcoin. Every headline was negative. Every government didn't like it. It's getting banned, it's getting shut down. And yet we still formed enough conviction to be like, no way, I'm putting my whole life savings in this thing. We all formed a consensus that this thing kicks ass independently, whilst everyone was telling us that we were dead wrong, and we stuck to our guns. I'm sorry, I'm not betting against those people. They get it.
Who would? Hello out there. We're on the air. Good to see you. The show today is titled, Are You Prepared for Generational Wealth? We got a special episode today. Special episode. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. And I hope that everybody out there watching this today, now or later, will get a hump in today. So yes, we are on YouTube, we are on Rumble, and we are on Nostr. Because, as I said, this is a special episode today. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. But before I do, I should make sure that we're connected over in the Nostrs. Let's check her out here. Oh, nice. Looks like we got an unexpected application error. Nice. That's what we're looking for. And again. Okay, well, we might have to proceed without... Oh, there we go. Okay, how's everybody doing today? It's good to see the people here today. We got some people in Nostr already. Wall to Satoshi. I don't know if that's the actual Wall to Satoshi or not, but they're here every day. So shout out to the Wall of Satoshi, my favorite wallet. My favorite Lightning wallet, I should say. My favorite wallet is Sparrow. Hump day. Are you prepared for generational wealth? This is going to be a good one today, I think. I hope. This is going to be one I hope that you, I'm not going to tell you what to do here, but I hope that you bookmark this one. I hope that you listen to the words that are going to be discussed today. Some from me, some from other people. Scotty says special guest. No, unfortunately not. I guess we kind of do, not living anymore, but we do have a special guest today that we're going to be checking out here in a second. So I should let Nostr know we're live. I can't leave them out. We get some good tunes playing in the background. I would say that all is well today. I could not imagine a better day than today. Truly. Okay, where are you, Nostr? I see Jake's over there. Good morning, Jake. And somebody left a cup of coffee. Oh, is that a comment? No. I don't even know what that is on Nostr. Are you prepared for generational wealth? I have a funny feeling that most people here aren't. And that's why I wanted to do the show today. I felt compelled. To do this show today. So what's going to happen today? It's going to be a little bit different than our usual show. And I wanted to say a welcome to everybody on YouTube. I know we don't usually stream on YouTube in the mornings here. A big welcome to our friends over on Nostr and, of course, on Rumble. But it's going to be a slightly different structure. We're going to watch a video today. And I should actually give a shout out to, I started the video today with, I started the show today with a video that was actually shared in our Visionaries chat. And it was from Jason. So shout out to Jason. He said, this is the frame that I always come back to. Great take. So it is. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, it seems, in Bitcoin. And that's kind of why I wanted to do the show today, because there's something much bigger at play here. And I think that's what we need to be focused on ourselves, is the something much bigger. And so we're going to watch this video today. I'm actually going to start it right away because I don't want the show to run on for 3 hours here. So I'm going to start the video right away here. and then we're going to talk about a couple different things. And I fully intend to stop several times throughout the show. So I just realized that I left my notepad with all my notes on it at the table, kitchen table. So that's perfect. But I guess I can just start the video and then we can, I'll go get it right away. So before we do, we'll get to some chats here in the YouTubes, the Rumble. Praetorian, good to see you, buddy. Look at that. Praetorian was first chat in Rumble and on YouTube. And Praetorian was also the first one to zap today. And that came at what time, Praetorian? Let's check this out quickly. I see Sats Oils over in Zapstream. It looks like I'm missing a couple, though. Oh, there we go. Yes, I did miss a couple. Okay, so we got Praetorian was 5 hours ago at 3:57 a.m. 5,000 units of freedom. Praetorian says, good morning. Have a motivational day. Kind regards, Praetorian. And then we just got one from Sats and Sunsets over in Zapstream. 6969. Nice. Double nice. Says Mike check 1212. Yeah, so this is this first Sats and Sunsets. I guess he usually zaps the show number. So this is actually a convergence today. This is a convergence of the 88 Sats channel, the visionary show that we do every day, and a conversion with the is it conversion or convergence? I guess it'd be convergence. Probably both. Converge, merge. What's the difference between converge and merge? Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Convergence. I actually don't know if that's a word. Convergence between 88 Sats radio channel and the new underrated channel. We're going to be bringing it all kind of full circle here, which I probably should have done. You know, I launched this new YouTube channel last week, I think it was, and I just kind of did it quietly. And that's, you know, it was intentional, but I feel like we need a little bit more awareness about it. And today's video is going to tie in perfectly to both channels here. So just as a bit of a brief background about it, the 88 Sats radio channel, as people know, is pretty much focused on Bitcoin. Everything I talk about on there is about Bitcoin. Whereas the underrated channel, it's more timeless wisdom that can be applied to the new world that we're moving into. So taking wisdom and principles from the old world back in the 1920s, 1910s, 1900s, old wisdom from then, and applying it to the new world today. Because somewhere along the way, we lost our North Star, essentially. We went off a sound money standard. Probably since the 1930s, the world has just been completely fake. For real, because our money's been fake. And even though for those 40 years between the 30s and 1971, it was hard money-ish, we'll say. But the real magic happened back in the 1920s, 1910s, before we had the Federal Reserve, before we had fiat money. And so I think that that's where we're going to now. I think that we're actually moving back towards a hard money standard. And some people think it's going to be gold. Some people think it's going to be silver, although both of those have already tried and failed. Myself, I'm betting on Bitcoin. But either way, it seems like the world is losing faith in the fiat dollar, the fiat financial system, and we're moving to a different world, different system. And so that requires a different mindset. And that's why we're tapping into these old thought leaders like Napoleon Hill, like Earl Nightingale, like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and we're applying what they thought about back then to where we're going here. So that's what the new underrated channel is all about. Being underrated essentially means you're doing more than you get credit for. You're adding more value than you get back. That's what this new channel is kind of focused around. So YouTube likes niches. So the 88 Sats radio channel is Bitcoin. And then the underrated channel that we're going to be kind of merging today is it's Bitcoin centered, but it doesn't talk about Bitcoin very much. It's going to attract people who aren't necessarily into Bitcoin. I hope that's kind of my aim for it. Scotty Boy said, this zap was sent via the Lightning Network, 99 freedom units. Thank you, Scotty Boy. I see the Hick is over there, Jake. I see UTXO, who we featured we actually featured his post in yesterday's underrated video. So good to see a UTXO. Sats Oil and Carson. Good morning, fellas. Okay, let's keep her going here. Let's see who is here. Rich is here. Sketchucation. Looks like we got a good crew over on the Rumble today. Jake's here. 21 Hats. Ginger's here. We got Scotty Boy. Is this the right place for 65 plus males? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say yeah. I posted on, I think that's what Scotty's referring to. I was looking at the analytics of a video from a while ago, and the audience was 100% male. Not even like 99.9% male and 0.01% female, like 100% male to 0% female. And I know that there's females that watch the show every morning and who enjoy the stuff we talk about here, but that specific video was 100% men, 0% women. So it's kind of funny. Sats and Sunsets is on Rumble and on Noster. Scotty says, please pay attention to your posture in your chair or the lumbar demons might come. Good call. Buck 52's here. Locks guy. Good to see you, Locks guy. I haven't seen Locks guy in a while. Chuck's here. Matt FRL is here. This is the sausage party. That's right. Bitcoin sniffing out a new low today. That's what we're trying to talk ourselves out of here, Scotty. That's what the point of the show is today, as a matter of fact. Gronky Tonk. Look at this. Everybody's here. Mika. Wow, wow, wow. Must be a special day. Orange hoodie in the house. Yes. I only wear this hoodie when I'm extremely bullish for Bitcoin and humanity. And today I am extremely bullish. And myself. And look, oh, we missed him. Arnie, you want to come back and say hi? Thought I saw his butt there. Arnie boy. He might come back. We'll see. Converge is the process of coming together and merge is the outcome of coming together. Okay. So they're pretty damn close. Both are coming together. Thanks for that, Sats and Sunsets. I'm present for class today. Morning, everyone. Good morning, Cypher. Good to see you, buddy. Rich over on Noster zapped 88 units of freedom. Says on the air. Thank you, Rich. And Logan's over on Noster too. Said good morning from my Noster space. Never heard of that before. And we got Terry Crow all the way from Kansas. All the way from Kansas. Oh, yeah, just making sure I didn't miss anything here. We got one from Chuck, too, 111 units of freedom. So, okay, you guys, girls, mostly guys, apparently. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this one today. So, I'm going to put on this video, and we're going to watch it. And I really want you to, if you're not in the right mindset today, it's tough. Because when you do a live stream, it's like, okay, wow, Locks guy. Look at that. There's going to be 5 very happy people here as new members of the channel, because all 5 of those people are actually going to get access to the Bitcoin school videos that I've been posting every single day in 2026. I think we're on day 35 today. So there's been 35 videos shared to YouTube for the private members. So if you are the recipient of one of these memberships from Locks Guy, you're going to get access to Bitcoin school videos. So I don't know who got those. It doesn't show me on here. I could probably find out, but I'll let people themselves find out. So thank you, Locks Guy. That's very helpful for the channel. Very, very much appreciated. Nav says on a Wednesday. I know it's a special show today. So again, as I was saying there, it's kind of tough, you know, doing live streams because not everybody's in the same kind of mindset as you, right? Not everybody's tuned into the same kind of frequency as you. So I want you to remember the show today. I want you to bookmark it and I want you to revisit it often. Because this is important. This is important. This is the part of Bitcoin that nobody else really talks about. This is the part of wealth, of generating wealth that we were never taught as kids. And again, we grew up in a fiat world. We grew up in an artificial world. And I think that once you accept that as reality, you can start to fix that. You can start to make changes. And so part of this video today is going to be talking about how we can start preparing our mindset, mostly for what's coming. And times like this, when Bitcoin goes from the price of 124, 125, whatever it was, all the way down to 75 or whatever we are today, that's where we need to practice this kind of stuff. It's really easy to be a Bitcoiner. It's really easy to be having fun and really energetic and magnetic when the price of Bitcoin's running up and to really be feeling yourself. It's easy. But times like this is when it's hard. And times like this are when you get to practice discipline, focus, mindset, all these different things. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So with that, look at that. Terry got a lifetime membership. And Vic. Thank you, Vic. Or thank you, Lock Sky, says Vic. Terry Crow, same thing. Love that. Okay, so let's get to her here. I'm going to start the video. We're going to watch the whole damn thing. But I'm going to be interrupting here. And I think that's part of it too, because it's a 30-minute video. And you know, it can kind of get repetitive and you're going to be tempted to kind of switch on to something else on your phone. I get that. I'm the same way. So I'm going to try to break this up and we're going to kind of split it up into different parts. I'm going to have different things that I want to share throughout the video here, but we're going to let this full video play today. And that's why I want to start it right now, because I don't want this to turn into a 3-hour stream. So it's a half an hour video. It's called Train Your Aura to Attract Wealth. This video has 1.7 million views in the last couple months. And it is just absolutely packed with information that I think will benefit every single person watching this. So train your aura to attract wealth. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And it is AI generated. There's a couple different things you can tell how he says the different words, obviously. But this is how Napoleon Hill thinks. If you actually listen to Napoleon Hill speak in a real video, obviously this is his voice. So it is AI generated, but that's okay. It's packed with good information and the principles that Napoleon Hill talks about kind of jammed into half an hour of magic here. So without further ado, we're going to get to it. I'm going to go grab my notepad and then we'll discuss.
You think money is about math. You believe it's about hustle. You've been told it's about timing. But I am here to tell you, you're wrong. It is about alignment. It is about vibration. It is about the silent force that surrounds you. And that force is what I call your aura. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are. Your aura is your broadcast signal. It is the frequency you emit unconsciously, consistently, and unapologetically. Before you speak, it speaks for you. Before you enter a room, it arrives ahead of you. Before you pitch an idea, or launch a product, or ask for a raise, your aura has already negotiated the terms. So if you are poor on the inside, if you carry doubt in your bones, if your self-talk drips with scarcity, then I don't care how big your dreams are, you will sabotage your success at every turn. This is the law of resonance, and it is non-negotiable. You see, every thought you think emits a signal. Every emotion you hold becomes a pattern. Every belief you adopt becomes a magnetic current, either pulling prosperity toward you or repelling it from your field. You are either a magnet or a repellent. And here's where people fail. They try to fake confidence. They paste on smiles. They rehearse affirmations they don't believe. They act as if but vibrate fear underneath it all. And the universe reads the real signal, not your words, not your dreams, your energy. So let me ask you a question. What are you broadcasting? Because your aura cannot lie, it reflects your truth. If you are constantly anxious about money, the message you send island, I live in lack. If you envy others' success, the message island, there is not enough for me. If you undercharge, apologize for your price, feel guilt for winning, the message island, I do not believe in my own worth. That signal becomes your ceiling, and no strategy will save you until your signal is rewired. Now, let's be clear. Your aura is not some mystical idea. It is a reflection of your emotional habits. It is built through repetition. It is shaped by focus. It is strengthened through mental discipline. You are training your aura every time you think a thought, every time you hold a belief, every time you speak words out loud.
Okay, I think that's the first place to take a little break here. I want to go through that again because I think everybody here has probably heard of this aura, right? Everybody's heard the word aura and how some people have this aura. But I think this is a really good way to think about it. Instead of just like, as Napoleon said there, your aura is not some mystical idea. And that's how I think that most people see it or think about it, as this mystical thing that's just there. Some people have it, some people don't. But I think if we think differently about it here, it can change how we do things and maybe change what we attract and what we push away. And so let's go back to that part again there. I want you to listen to that again. Your aura is not some mystical idea. It's a reflection of your emotional habits. It's a reflection of your emotional habits. It is built through repetition. It is shaped by focus. It is strengthened through mental discipline. You are training your aura, which means you can change your aura. You can train it yourself. You're training your aura every time you think a thought, every time you hold a belief, and every time you speak words out loud.
Let's be clear. Your aura is not some mystical idea. It is a reflection of your emotional habits. It is built through repetition. It is shaped by focus. It is strengthened through mental discipline. You are training your aura every time you think a thought, every time you hold a belief, every time you speak words out loud. Every single one of these becomes part of the field around you. And that field, your aura, is what money listens to. So if you want to attract wealth, stop trying to impress the world. Impress your subconscious. Train your nervous system to feel safe with abundance. Because if your body resists it, you will unconsciously block every breakthrough. Let me tell you something that will sound radical, but is absolutely true. Wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your imagination. Can you hold the feeling of overflow without seeing the evidence? Can you walk like someone who is already free, even if the world hasn't caught up yet? Most people can't because they are addicted to external validation. They need proof before they believe.
What does that remind you of? Can you walk like somebody who is already free, even if the world hasn't caught up yet? Most people can't because they are addicted to external validation. They need proof before they believe. So I want to listen to that again. And part of this, I want you to think about as it relates to Bitcoin is what does that mean to you? Can you walk around like someone who is already free, even if the world hasn't caught up yet? Most people can't because they're addicted to external validation. They need proof before they believe. So what does that sound like? To me, that sounds like somebody who is attached to the fiat price of Bitcoin. And they let their own conviction and their own belief in themselves and in their overall conviction to be dictated by the fiat price. And kind of what we started the show with today is saying that the fiat dollar for the last 50 or 80 years, depending on how you want to look at it, it's artificial, it's fake. And so we're looking at this price of Bitcoin as if it actually means something. And that's what's dictating our own belief in ourselves and what we've learned so far being in Bitcoin. We're letting that price decide what we're worth and what Bitcoin's worth. And so I think that what I want to talk about at the end of the show here, after we watch this video, I'm going to share a couple things that I've implemented that have had a massive impact in terms of not getting shaken by these kind of external things. And to me, the external part of this is the fiat price, the fiat illusion of what they say that Bitcoin's worth. And if you understand Bitcoin at all, and even what we started the video with today, Bitcoin's far superior, infinitely better than gold. And even if gold and Bitcoin were 1-to-1, that means that the price of Bitcoin would be $1.7 million today, if Bitcoin and gold were equally valuable. The price of Bitcoin would be $1.7 million. So we're letting this imaginary, illusionary number dictate how we believe, how we see ourselves, how we carry ourselves. And that, again, the magnetic field around us is driven by that fiat price. So that's what I want to try to get past in this video today. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be one video that you watch, but I'm going to share something with you, something that I've done that I think will help you kind of get over that hump. So let's listen to that again.
Can you walk like someone who is already free, even if the world hasn't caught up yet? Most people can't because they are addicted to external validation. They need proof before they believe. But the wealthy, those who stay wealthy, believe first. They rehearse success in the mind's theater until it becomes inevitable. They build the future internally before a dime shows up externally. That is the secret of energy mastery. And that is how you train your aura to attract wealth. So how do you begin? Step 1, you must reclaim authorship of your identity. You must erase the story that was written for you by broke parents, insecure teachers, cautious friends, and a society that glorifies struggle. You are not born poor. You are trained to think poor. You are conditioned to fear wealth, to associate it with guilt, greed, or corruption. And if you hold these beliefs, no matter how small, you are repelling the very thing you say you want. Money has no loyalty. It flows to those who are most energetically open to it. If your aura is filled with shame, it will run. If your aura is coated in expectation and abundance, it will chase you. So I ask you again, what are you broadcasting? You cannot afford to walk through this world unconsciously. Every sigh, every complaint, every moment of self-pity is training your aura to normalize lack. But every act of gratitude, every minute spent visualizing your financial destiny, every ounce of courage to say, I deserve more, that is how you rewire the frequency. There are no shortcuts, there are no exceptions. This is work, but it is sacred work. Now here's something most people miss. You must not just think rich, you must feel rich. Wealth is not just a number in a bank account. It is an emotional signature.
Okay, I see a comment here from Senor Gringo Poppy. Says, we're here for the fiat price. If it drops 90% and stays there, we're all fucked up. See, that's the whole problem. That's why I wanted to do this video today. And I get it. If you want to stay in that mindset, if you want to stay there and completely be attached to the fiat price, the illusionary price, because that's what it is. And once you have a decent understanding of Bitcoin, which I'm assuming Senior Gringo Poppy would, you just see that that doesn't matter because it's impossible to measure something against fiat. Why? Because we don't know how many fiat units exist. They can print them. They do print them every single day. We don't know how many there are today. We don't know how many there was yesterday. And we definitely don't know how many there's going to be in 100 years from now, 100 days from now even. So you can't fairly measure against fiat, which means it's a complete illusion. And so again, I'm saying here, if you want to stay in that mindset, that's fine. You're going to have a pretty rough go here. But what I'm saying is you need to completely detach from that sentiment there, that statement that you made. That's exactly why I wanted to do this video today, because I feel like that's why this video came to be. That's why I was compelled to make it today, for exact statements like that.
Sure. It feels like security. It feels like freedom. It feels like expansion. And unless your body learns to feel those emotions now, you will unconsciously sabotage your wealth when it finally arrives. This is why so many lottery winners go broke. Their vibration didn't match the money.
And kind of back to the Senior Gringo Poppy's comment there, that's literally a person who's letting a fiat price determine their self-worth. The number that goes up and down based on what? I don't know. It's definitely not supply and demand, because if this thing was based on supply and demand and true value, if the world understood what Bitcoin is, again, the price would be well over $2 million per Bitcoin. So if you believe that internally, then you reflect that in how you portray yourself to the world. And that's what this whole video is about here today. So he just said there, he talked about lottery winners. That's why lottery winners go broke.
And unless your body learns to feel those emotions now, you will unconsciously sabotage your wealth when it finally arrives. This is why so many lottery winners go broke. Their vibration didn't match the money.
And I feel like there's going to be a lot of Bitcoiners who kind of have the same way. And that's why I talked about last week. I said, if you think like a farmer, think about yourself as a first generation Bitcoiner. Because I feel like there's a lot of people in Bitcoin who are buying Bitcoin. Either, they exchanged a lot of their past wealth into Bitcoin, or they're DCAing every day, but they have these hopes that in 10 years from now, they're just going to be able to retire and do nothing for the rest of their lives because of Bitcoin. And that's exactly what this is about here. Lottery winners. People play the lottery every day. They spend money that they don't have to win this pot of gold. But as soon as they get that, they do away with it because they're not ready for it yet. They're not on that vibration. They haven't prepared for it. Their mindset isn't ready for it. And so what do? They just spend it. They give it to somebody who is ready for it. So if you think about yourself as a first generation Bitcoiner here, and I like thinking about it this way, where if you were a first generation farmer, you wouldn't buy a piece of land and say, I'm going to hold on to this land for 10 years and I'm going to wait for the price to go up and I'm going to sell it and I'm going to do nothing for the rest of my life. That's not how farmers think at all. Farmers think like, okay, I'm going to be here for the next 50 years. I'm going to put every ounce of sweat, blood, and tears into this land. I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to add as much value as I can to the world. I'm going to provide food to the world. And I'm going to use that wealth and I'm going to acquire more land. That's how farmers think. And that's how Bitcoiners need to think through this lens. It's, I'm going to buy some of this Bitcoin now. I'm going to do everything that I can to become more valuable, add as much value as I can to the world. I'm going to take that value and I'm going to acquire more Bitcoin. And we're lucky here because the world hasn't figured this out yet. That's the opportunity that we live in right now, where we can still trade one fake unit for 1,300 units of the hardest money that's ever been created. The perfect, pristine digital land. So I think if you think more like a farmer and less like somebody who's going to win the lottery here, you're going to have a much better time and your family's going to enjoy the benefits of that for generations to come.
Their aura was still one of fear, confusion, and limitation. And so the money had to leave because energy seeks alignment. So ask yourself, how can I practice the feeling of wealth today? Even if your account says zero, can you walk with your head high? Can you speak your truth boldly? Can you act like someone who knows their worth without apology? That is wealth training. That is aura training. Let's go deeper now. You must eliminate the people, the habits, and the environments that drain your signal. You can't train a magnetic aura while dining with complainers. You can't build confidence while listening to gossip. You can't think like a millionaire while scrolling through poverty mindset content. What you consume becomes what you emit.
I love that. And actually, of the 10 videos that we've had on the underrated channel so far, the majority of them are kind of built around that premise. I shared a video yesterday talking about the importance of creating your environment. And it is actually a post from UTXO, who is in the Noster chat this morning. But it's absolutely true. You must eliminate the people, the habits, and the environment that drain your signal. You can't train a magnetic aura while dining with complainers. You can't build confidence while listening to gossip. You can't think like a millionaire while scrolling through poverty mindset content. What you consume becomes what you emit. So when you think about that, think about your own environment. What do you have in your life and what's it turning you into? What do you watch all day? What do you listen to all day? And that's why I highly suggest, I think he mentions it a couple times in this video, but I highly suggest just taking like 10, 15, 20 minutes every morning before you turn on your phone, before you do anything else. Just listen to a video. And that's the whole reason why I made the underrated channel, so that people could have something to listen to. I guarantee you're never going to hear one complaint. You're never going to hear one negative thought, negative word come out of my mouth on that channel. And I think that that's what you need in the morning. That's what I need in the morning. And that's how I start every day for me, is I listen to this kind of stuff and I fill my mind with it, because what you consume becomes what you emit. So let's listen to that part again.
Wealth training, that is aura training. Let's go deeper now. You must eliminate the people, the habits, and the environments that drain your signal. You can't train a magnetic aura while dining with complainers. You can't build confidence while listening to gossip. You can't think like a millionaire while scrolling through poverty mindset content. What you consume becomes what you emit. So guard your field, read wealth, speak wealth, feel wealth. Surround yourself with those who challenge you to grow, not those who anchor you in fear. Let me tell you the truth no one wants to hear. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is the old version of you that refuses to let go, the version that plays small, the version that doubts, the version that wants to be liked more than it wants to be free. That version has a weak signal. That version begs. That version repels opportunity because it cannot handle responsibility. You must shed that version. Not someday, not when it's convenient, but now. The moment you stop apologizing for your power, the moment you stop minimizing your potential, the moment you decide to no longer entertain lack, gossip, or emotional chaos, that is the moment your aura becomes undeniable. You walk into a room and people feel it. You speak and people listen. You ask and doors open. Not because you're lucky, but because you've trained your field. Your aura is not fixed. It is flexible. It is shaped by every thought, word, and action. You are always training it, consciously or unconsciously. So train it with intent. Declare every day, I am wealth in motion. I am aligned with abundance. I do not chase, I attract. I release guilt and embrace expansion. Say these not to impress the world, but to reprogram yourself. And finally, trust this. The more you embody wealth, the less you will need to prove anything. You will not need to shout your success. You will not need to flaunt your value. Your aura will speak for you. Train it, strengthen it, respect it, and wealth will respond. You must understand, wealth is not earned by effort alone. If it were, the hardest workers would be the richest, but they are not. And that contradiction should wake you up. It is not sweat alone that unlocks prosperity. It is alignment. You could grind endlessly, run yourself into exhaustion, build businesses, climb corporate ladders, study strategies, but if the signal you're emitting is one of internal poverty, you will sabotage every gain. You will attract betrayal, delays, miscommunication, missed chances. Why? Because your aura doesn't lie. And you may say, but Napoleon, I'm thinking positive thoughts. I'm visualizing success. I'm repeating affirmations. Then I ask you, are you feeling them? You see, this is where most fail. They speak abundance with their mouths, but whisper lack in their nervous system. They chant success in the morning, and by afternoon they are worrying about bills. They meditate for 10 minutes, then spend the rest of the day radiating panic, jealousy, guilt, and scarcity. That is not alignment. That is confusion. And the universe does not reward confusion. It rewards clarity.
I love that one. The universe does not reward confusion. It rewards clarity and alignment. So I really think that I struggle with this a lot, because I'm somebody who every morning, like I said, I listen to this kind of stuff. I write in my notebook. I say things out loud that I want to come true. But the problem is that then in the afternoon, I look at my bank balance. And if you're a Bitcoiner, a true Bitcoiner, somebody who's significantly invested into Bitcoin, that's still kind of your focus, right? So that's confusion, where in the morning you might spend feeling this kind of stuff, feeling a certain way. And then when you look at your bank statement and you have to pay bills, it's a whole different feeling. In the morning, you feel very wealthy. In the afternoon, you feel very poor. And that's misalignment. That's confusion. And that point that he said there, the universe does not reward confusion. It rewards clarity and alignment. So again, kind of at the end of this video here, I'm going to share something that I've started to do that I think helps significantly. And I'm hoping that it'll help people here who are kind of going through that same kind of internal struggle. And you can't struggle with that. It can't be wealthy in the morning and poor in the afternoon. Wealthy in this system, poor in this system. It has to be completely aligned. And therefore, you almost have to completely tune out the fiat price of Bitcoin, because that's what's keeping you feeling that way. That's what's causing the confusion and the misalignment there. So let's keep her going.
So let us clarify. Your aura is your emotional default, not your peak state, not your performance on a good day, but your average, your baseline. If you want to train your aura to attract wealth, you must raise your baseline vibration, not occasionally, but consistently. And how do you do that? Through emotional hygiene, through the daily disciplined clearing of mental clutter, through the reconditioning of your beliefs, your emotions, and your habits so they are rooted in truth, not trauma. This means you must remove not just the negative thoughts, but the identity addicted to them. You must kill the part of you that needs to be the underdog, the part that clings to struggle as a badge of honor, the part that equates success with disloyalty to your past. That is the emotional infection blocking your signal. So today, ask yourself, who do I become when no one is watching? What frequency do I return to when I'm alone with my thoughts? What energy do I bring into the room before I even open my mouth? If your answer is anything less than certainty, belief, and dignity, then that is the area that requires your devotion. Now, let's move to a foundational principle, this so simple yet so overlooked. You do not receive what you want. You receive what you believe. Wanting is weak. Belief is powerful. A person who wants success is still anchored in lack. But a person who believes in their success vibrates as if it's already done. And the aura reflects that. It carries the tone of inevitability. That's when people begin to treat you differently. They say, you feel different. They say, something about you has changed. They say, I can't explain it, but I trust you. And they don't even know why. But you know why. It's because you trained your aura to command respect long before you saw results. You became it on the inside before the world could validate it on the outside. And that is the ultimate hack. That is the invisible edge. Now, let me give you a practical law to apply, because philosophy without application is poverty in disguise. Here is the law. Environment is amplifier. Whatever vibration you carry, your environment will amplify it. If you doubt yourself and you're surrounded by complainers, gossipers, and critics, your self-doubt will multiply. But if you begin to rewire your aura for confidence, and you surround yourself with those who speak life, who move with boldness, who operate in conviction, your signal strengthens tenfold. So train your aura by curating your surroundings. Change your space. Change your company. Change your input. If you spend your days consuming anxiety, you will vibrate anxiety. If you soak in success, you will radiate success. Turn your room into a sanctuary of excellence. Fill it with books, symbols, and visuals that reinforce your future, not your fears. Guard your ears from negativity.
Guard your ears from negativity. God, isn't that true? And it's one of those things where we talked about it a couple times now, and he keeps talking about conviction. He keeps talking about curating your environment. But these are the things that matter. It's the little things throughout the day that we don't even think about that actually turn us into who we are. And so if you're I've noticed this myself. I used to spend so many hours on Twitter every day, trying to keep up with the news, trying to give my opinion on things, trying to, be part of change in some way that I believed was true. But the only thing that I was doing, it was distracting me from what I needed to be doing. It was taking all the energy, because remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only transferred, which means that as individuals, we only have so much energy. Our energy every day is finite. And if we're spending 2 hours a day on Twitter being anxious and stressed and anger, that's 2 hours. That's forming us into who we are. We don't even really think about that, though. We just think we're spending 2 hours doing nothing. But these are the kind of things, these are the choices that you make throughout the day. And there's a couple other things too, which we'll get to here. But guarding your ears from negativity is so important. And again, that's kind of the promise that I'm making here today. With this channel, with the Underrated channel, you will never hear me speak one word of negativity, because it doesn't do any good. You can be realistic and you can be delusional, but it's all based on the work that you've done yourself, the conviction that you have yourself, not based on what the fiat price says of anything, not what's happening over in whatever country. That doesn't matter. And you don't need to pay attention to that. Again, you only have so much energy every day. So you have to consciously and intentionally decide where you're going to point that energy. And why not fill it with hope? Why not fill it with optimism? Why not fill it with self-improvement kind of stuff? And even last night, I was having a pretty shitty day yesterday, like really shitty day yesterday. And that happens once in a while. But I think the old me would have fallen into this trap of, self-doubt, pity. I would spend a couple hours on my phone and I would just kind of hope that it would get better through time. But instead, I actually went outside. I went outside for about an hour and a half and I shoveled the driveway. We have a snowblower here, but I just wanted some fresh air. And so I spent about an hour and a half shoveling, and I was listening to Napoleon Hill. I was listening to The Law of Success. And when I came back in, I was a completely different person. And throughout the night last night, I spent probably 2 or 3 hours in the shower, doing some work, listening to this stuff. And it just completely changed my state of mind. And not only that, but I probably had 10 different ideas flow into me last night, because I wasn't blocking it with the bullshit. I wasn't paying attention to what's going on in the news. I wasn't paying attention to which player got traded to which team this week. I said, I'm gonna listen to this stuff. I'm going to put positivity and creativity into my ears. And then all of a sudden things started flowing. Everything changed because of the environment that I created for myself. And so if you are having a shitty day, I think that this is a perfect way to do it. And it's funny because I remember even last week I was watching one of Jerry's streams, and he was going through a bit of a tough time. He was having a tough time with everything that's happening in the US with the ICE stuff, all the protests. He was pretty frustrated, and you could tell in his tone how frustrated he was. And I put in the live chat, I said, Jerry, just tune this out. Just shut Twitter off for a day. Instead of looking at Twitter, listen to Earl Nightingale. And I swear to God, the next day he came back. I don't know if he did it or not, but he was a completely different person. He got some sleep. He put positivity into his ears instead of negativity. And it changed because he changed his environment. He had the ability to do that. It's just we don't think that we have that kind of power, but we do. And so guard yourself from negativity. Guard your ears from negativity. And what's the next part here?
Protect your mornings from distraction.
Protect your mornings from distraction. I'm telling you, I don't turn on my phone for an hour and a half in the morning. And it's changed everything for me. Because I can easily, if I don't have anything pressing to do, I can easily waste an hour falling into that trap of Twitter, of Instagram, of YouTube, of whatever. Nostr. I love Nostr. I spend probably half an hour, 45 minutes on Nostr every day, because Nostr, to me, I changed my environment. I switched from Twitter to Nostr because there's just much more creativity. There's more positivity. There's people building things on Nostr. So I switched my own environment to tune into that versus on X, where there's violence, there's complaining, there's political bullshit. I changed that. And it's had a massive impact on my life. And I don't even turn my my cell signal on my internet here for the first hour, hour and a half of my morning. And you would not believe the impact that could have.
Reclaim your nights from emotional drama, because every moment is training your field, and your field is training your results. You are always transmitting. The question island. Are you transmitting on purpose? Let's continue. There is a reason why some people seem to magnetize wealth without effort. It is not luck. It is not inheritance. It is not accident. It is energetic congruence. They speak what they believe. They act how they feel. They move as if it's already real. That level of congruence creates power. It creates certainty. It creates trust. Others feel it, and they want to align. They want to support you, buy from you, invest in you, not because of what you said, but because of how your presence made them feel. This is aura intelligence. People don't invest in plans. They invest in confidence. People don't buy logic. They buy energy. So stop trying to perfect your pitch. Perfect your presence. Stop trying to copy someone else's strategy. Copy their certainty. Copy their energy commitment. Because that's the real blueprint. That's the unspoken advantage. Now let's go deeper. Your aura reflects your relationship with self. If you are at war with yourself, you will be at war with money. If you judge your ambition, you will sabotage your progress. If you question your own worth, the world will echo that doubt. So start within, reparent yourself, rewrite the rules of what you're allowed to want. Give yourself permission to be powerful without apology. Teach your nervous system that expansion is safe. That success is your natural state, not your exception. Because until you believe you're worthy of wealth, you are blocking it. You can hustle all day. You can network and sell and create content, but if the vibration behind all of that is, I don't deserve it, then your results will mirror your fear, not your effort. The universe doesn't reward action, it rewards aligned action. So here's a tool I've taught to many who felt stuck, and it has changed their lives. Every morning, before the noise of the world creeps in, before the phone rings, before the headlines, before the rush, sit with yourself. 5 minutes. That's all. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths and visualize your aura, glowing, brighter, stronger, expanding around you. Now speak to it, command it. Say, I am a magnet for abundance. Say, my presence is wealth. Say, money is safe with me. Success flows to me. I am aligned with expansion. Feel these words not as fantasy, but as truth. Practice that feeling until your body believes it. Do this every day for 21 days, and you will begin to notice opportunities showing up without effort. People responding to you with unexpected enthusiasm. Money arriving through channels you never expected. Because your aura will no longer repel it. It will welcome it. It will say, this person is ready. And that is the moment the shift occurs. Now I want to give you one last anchor in this segment. Wealth is not the reward. It is the side effect. The true reward is who you become in the process of aligning your energy. The emotional discipline, the mental clarity, the spiritual confidence, that is the wealth that no one can steal. That is the power no market crash can take away.
The wealth that no one can steal. Man, it's funny because that's Bitcoin. It's wealth that nobody can steal. They could if you're careless with it, but if you do things properly, if you take it seriously, just imagine that. That's one thing that I think about all the time, is that if I was ever forced to leave here, because again, the world's a pretty chaotic place right now. I don't think anybody can predict what's going to happen here. And so I think about this all the time. If I had to leave here tomorrow, What would I bring with me? What would I be able to bring with me? And Bitcoin is one of those things. I wouldn't be able to take gold if I had a ton of gold in the basement. I wouldn't be able to take silver. I wouldn't be able to take this land that I'm sitting on right now, that this house is on. I wouldn't be able to take this house. I wouldn't be able to take my car. I wouldn't be able to take my hockey card collection. I wouldn't be able to take any of that. But I can take Bitcoin. I can take 12 words. I can write it in a book and I can leave with that. Or I can take 12 words and I can memorize it. And whenever I get to where I'm going, I can all of a sudden have my wealth restored. But that's only one piece of it. It's also the skills that you have. It's also the mindset that you have. It's also the network that you have. Those are things that nobody can take from you. And those are things that you can travel anywhere on the globe with. Those 4 things: Bitcoin, mindset, network, and your skills, your knowledge. And so if that's the case, those are the kind of things that you want to be focused on. Those are the things that you want to be aligned with. Those are the things that you want to be working on every day. Right? And I'm not saying that I'm ever going to be forced to leave here, but if I am, I'm going to be well prepared for it. Whatever happens from there, I'm going to be prepared for it. Those are things that nobody can take away from me. So that's important. That is important.
You see, money is just a messenger. It goes where it feels safe. It flows to clarity. It dances with decisiveness. And when you become the type of person who lives in harmony with success, your aura becomes the invitation. It becomes the contract. And every room you walk into will feel it. You will not need to beg. You will not need to explain. You will not need to chase. You will simply arrive because your aura has already negotiated your worth. Let me now reveal something most people never learn in their entire lives. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are prepared to receive.
Let's hear that one again. You do not attract what you chase.
In their entire lives. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are prepared to receive.
That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. We're not trying to figure out how to work harder. We're not trying to figure out how to manipulate the system and cheat and take shortcuts. We're here to prepare to receive it. That's what we're doing here. That's what this whole stream is about today. We're preparing to receive it. We're not chasing it. We're preparing ourselves to receive it. We're preparing our mindset. We're preparing our external world, whether that's inheritance stuff, setting up a trust for your Bitcoin, all these different things. You have to be prepared for it when you get it. You're not chasing it. You're not just sitting there hoping the price of Bitcoin goes up in fiat terms. You're actually preparing for it. And that's the opportunity again that we have here, is as the rest of the world figures this out, this is our opportunity to prepare for it. That's what we're doing here.
It is not your ambition that determines your results, but your readiness. And readiness is not mental, it is energetic. It is emotional. It is spiritual. You do not convince life to hand you riches by talking fast, grinding hard, or networking endlessly. You earn those riches by becoming the person who vibrates at the level of those riches. Money is energy. Power is energy. Opportunities, resources, alliances, all of it is energetic. So the only way to attract what you want is to match the frequency of what you want. And the only way to do that is to train your aura. This is why I say, train your aura like an athlete trains his body. With intention, with devotion, with repetition. You are not entitled to wealth just because you want it. But you are destined for wealth if you embody it, if you live in alignment with it before it ever shows up in your hands. Let me ask you something important. When you walk into a room, what walks in with you? Does your presence speak abundance or insecurity? Does your energy say, I am here to give, or I am desperate to get? Does your posture reflect quiet knowing or silent begging? You see, wealth is not only attracted to belief, it is repelled by desperation. Desperation signals fear. And fear poisons the frequency. It sends out the message, I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I can't hold it. I'm afraid it won't last. And when that becomes your energetic signature, the world responds accordingly. You push people away. You miss timing. You create misfires. But when you carry the opposite, when you breathe certainty, when your aura says, I am already fulfilled and more is welcome, that's when the gates open.
I love that one. I'm already fulfilled and more is welcome.
When your aura says, I am already fulfilled and more is welcome, that's when.
I love that. I'm gonna highlight that and write that somewhere. I am already fulfilled and more is welcome. I am already fulfilled and more is welcome. That's when the gates open. Love that. Absolutely love that.
When the gates open. That's when life stops resisting and starts delivering. Now you might wonder, how can I train my aura to be that clear, that magnetic? I'll give you the method. It's what I call emotional calibration. It consists of 3 powerful rituals repeated daily. This one, emotional audit. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I feeling, and does it serve the person I'm becoming? If the answer is no, reframe it. Don't let an unqualified emotion run your day. Interrupt it. Replace it. Realign. 2, alignment affirmation. Speak to your nervous system, not to impress, but to rewire. Tell your body how it feels when you're already wealthy. Say, I am safe. I am trusted. I am responsible with abundance. I am a vessel for impact. 3, visualization repetition. Close your eyes. Feel your future self. Not from the outside looking in, but from the inside out. See through his eyes. Move with his posture. Smile with his certainty. Make that identity so familiar that your body begins to adopt it as its own. These 3 rituals done consistently will begin to clean your aura. Like polishing a lens, they remove the fog. They clarify your message. They make you a signal worth following. But beware. This transformation is not always comfortable. When you begin to vibrate at a higher level, the lower frequencies in your life will rebel. You'll see people fall away. Patterns dissolve. Environments grow hostile. That is not punishment, that is proof you're evolving. So don't cling to what is crumbling. Release it. Let your old self die. Because the person you're becoming cannot grow inside the shell of the person you were. Every seed must break to grow. Every identity must crack before it expands. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be aligned. Let others misunderstand you. Let them gossip. Let them think you've changed. They are right. You have, because you finally decided to live as who you are, not who they remember. And that courage, that audacity, is what strengthens your aura more than any technique or tool. You want to know how the most powerful people on earth became magnetic? They weren't always confident. They weren't always bold. But they made a decision, a clear, defiant decision, that they would no longer live beneath their potential. They spoke success before they could afford it. They gave value before anyone asked for it. They radiated certainty while still walking through chaos, because their faith was stronger than their fear. And you must do the same. When the bank account says no, your energy must still say yes. When others stop believing in you, you must believe louder. When life delays your dreams, you must hold the vibration. That is how you win. That is how you become unshakable, and that is how your aura becomes your advantage. Now let me speak to a myth that has cost millions their dreams, the lie that confidence comes from evidence. It does not. Confidence comes from decision. If you wait to feel ready before you act, you will never act. If you wait to be validated before you speak, you will never speak. If you wait to be chosen before you commit, you will live in permanent hesitation. So you must decide, right now, I am enough. I am ready. I am the one. Not someday, not when it's perfect, not after permission. Now, that declaration, that raw, defiant choice, that is the seed of all aura mastery. From that place, everything begins to align. You show up differently. You speak with more power. You no longer seek, you signal. And the world responds not because you have something, but because you are something. I'll give you one more method before we close this segment. One of my favorites. It's called energetic pre-play. Here's how it works. Before any important meeting, conversation, decision, or performance, sit still. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and imagine it already went better than expected. Feel the applause. Feel the relief. Feel the confirmation. Then, and this is key, feel who you were in that moment. What were you thinking? How were you moving? What did you radiate? Now take that emotional blueprint and carry it into the real event. This is no fantasy game. This is quantum rehearsal. This is auric training. Because when your body believes the outcome has already happened, you remove fear. You dissolve resistance. You bypass sabotage. You are no longer trying to win. You have already won. And that is the most powerful frequency in the universe. So here is your challenge. For the next 30 days, do this. Audit your emotions. Affirm your alignment. Visualize your future self. Pre-play every high-stakes moment. And most of all, live from the aura of the person you are becoming. Let others try to figure you out. Let them gossip. Let them hesitate. You won't be waiting because your aura will be doing the work that your words no longer need to. You will walk into rooms with invisible leverage. You will feel life rearrange itself to meet you. You will witness synchronicity, speed, success, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. You are not a beggar. You are not here to convince. You are a channel for abundance, a match for miracles, a vessel for power. Train your aura until it knows that truth better than your doubt. And when it does, you will no longer chase. You will attract. You will command. You will become. Now, listen closely, because this is where it all comes together. You've been training. You've been shifting your beliefs. You've been visualizing your future self and speaking with the tongue of triumph. But none of it means anything unless you embody it. You don't get to attract wealth by talking about your dreams. You attract wealth by becoming a walking embodiment of belief, by transforming your aura into a magnet so powerful, so refined, so exact in its purpose, that what you desire can no longer resist you. Most people still don't understand this. They ask, how can I make more money? I ask, what is your aura doing to repel it? They ask, how can I find better opportunities? I ask, have you raised your energetic signature to match the quality of those opportunities? You see, the universe is precise. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are in harmony with. Of those
The universe is precise. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are in harmony with. So I think with that, the universe is precise. Again, all this kind of stuff is like, I used to think this was kind of hocus pocus shit. I remember 10 or 15 years ago, whenever that movie came out, The Secret. And I think that a lot of people kind of perceived it that way as well, as if that would work, But these are actual laws of the universe. This isn't just somebody's opinion. This isn't like somebody's big idea that they had. And so it said the universe is precise. Again, these are all universal laws. Universal laws that you cannot fight, you cannot go against, you cannot shortcut, which is nature. The universe is precise. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are in harmony with. But I think in order to get in harmony with something, you have to know what you want. So it's not just enough to say that you want something or to think that you want something, but you actually have to do things to get in harmony with that thing that you want. And it's all kind of built by this. And, you know, as I was listening to this, I was thinking, okay, well, it's pretty easy to say, believe in yourself. It's easy to say, I'm wealthy before actually having any wealth. But all this kind of stuff comes through conviction. It comes through repetition. It comes in those little moments throughout the day where the old self, the old version of you is telling you, you know what, we'll just do it tomorrow. We'll do it, you know, we'll do it next week. We don't have to do that right now. It's not that important. But the other person on your other shoulder says, fuck that. We're doing that right now. We're not doing it tomorrow. We're doing that right now. Or if your old self says, I'm too tired. I'm not feeling very well today. Let's skip it. But the other guy on your shoulder says, again, we're doing it. And those are the kind of things that actually build this. And it's not something that you can just watch a video about and just practice when everything's good. It's moments like this. It's days like today when you're tested. This is a chance for you to practice this. And every time that you do that, every time that you say, we're doing it right now, we're not waiting for tomorrow, we're doing it right now. Every time you do that, that builds. And so you have to, that's what you're getting in harmony with. It's one thing to know what you want. And I think that's very important, but that's not all that you need to do. You got to take steps every single day consistently when nobody's watching, when the camera's not on, when you're not at work, when your boss isn't watching, whatever it is. Those are the moments that actually matter. And a lot of people just kind of skip past those. They think that it doesn't really matter that much. If I don't work out today, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal. But those things repeated consistently, that's what has turned you into where you are today. That's why we have some of these mindsets of scarcity versus abundance. So again, you have to know what you want, but you also have to get in harmony with it. And you get in harmony with it by doing these things throughout the day. These very small things that seem so subtle, but actually add up to everything.
Opportunities. You see, the universe is precise. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are in harmony with. That's why it's never about doing more. It's about becoming more. Think of your aura like a silent billboard. Everywhere you go, it's broadcasting your frequency. And the people, events, and results that match that frequency, they're already out there, scanning, searching. The question island, when they find you, what are you broadcasting? Is your billboard projecting confidence or confusion? Does your aura declare, I am ready, or whisper, please rescue me? Do you stand for something or blend in with everything? You cannot attract premium outcomes with a low rent identity. So let's talk identity. Not the name you were given, but the power you claim. Identity is not who you've been. It's who you choose to be now, and again, until the world believes you because you believe you. You've got to become the type of person whose presence solves problems. Not by force, not by manipulation, but by clarity, certainty, and conviction. When your aura says, I am the answer, people come looking for questions to give you. When your energy says, I've done the work, doors open before you knock. This is not arrogance. This is authentic ownership. You're not pretending. You're not faking it. You're remembering what's always been true. There's no more room for self-doubt in the house of success. If your future self were watching you now, would he be proud? Would he recognize you? Or would he wonder what happened to the fire? That fire is still inside you. But fire without direction burns everything. Fire with purpose builds empires. So channel it. And let me give you the 4 elements of a wealthy aura, the building blocks of a magnetic life. 1, certainty. No matter what happens around you, speak and move with intention. Certainty is louder than noise. People trust those who trust themselves. 2, calm. You can't radiate abundance if your energy is chaotic. Practice emotional stillness. Don't react. Respond. Don't beg. Attract. 3, congruence. Your thoughts, words, and actions must agree. You can't affirm wealth and live in scarcity. You can't visualize success and avoid discipline. Alignment isn't optional. It's the key. 4, contribution. If you want to be wealthy, be valuable. Give without keeping score. Solve problems that matter. Show up to serve, not just succeed. This is how you earn the right to receive. These 4 forces, certainty, calm, congruence, and contribution, form the energetic skeleton of every powerful person you've ever admired. They're not lucky. They're aligned. And you can be too. But there's one more truth I must share with you, and it may be the most important of all. Your aura doesn't grow when everything is easy. Your aura grows when you show up while it's hard. When you say, I believe even while trembling. When you lead, even while learning. When you give, even when you feel empty. When you persist, even when you feel forgotten. That's when the invisible world starts moving mountains in your name. The universe watches. It listens. And when you pass the tests of the invisible, it rewards you in the visible. Don't you dare quit 5 minutes before the miracle. Don't you dare dim your light to match a room you've outgrown. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand in the fire of your own power. And what happens when you do? People start to say, there's something about you. I don't know what it is, but I trust you. I feel drawn to you. That's your aura doing the work. That's the result of your inner training becoming an outer magnet. And you won't need to chase anymore because you've become the type of person who is chased by opportunity. Let's review what you've now learned. You've understood that wealth begins as energy, not effort. You've learned that aura is not mysticism. It's muscle built through repetition, intention, and alignment. You've realized that desperation blocks blessings and calm magnetizes them. You've practiced techniques, emotional audits, alignment affirmations, visualization repetition, and energetic pre-play. You've been introduced to the 4 elements of a magnetic aura: certainty, calm, congruence, and contribution. And most importantly, you've remembered that belief must come before evidence. This is not just a motivational speech. This is a spiritual blueprint, a manual for energetic mastery. So here's my final charge to you. Do not walk back into your life the same. Don't return to low-frequency habits, to small talk, to shrinking. Don't ask the world to validate your worth. Don't beg for crumbs when you were built to bake the feast. Instead, let every room feel your presence. Let every action reflect your alignment. Let every word be forged from conviction, not convenience. And when doubt whispers, and it will, answer with action. When fear shouts, and it will, answer with faith. When they mock your growth, and they will, smile and expand anyway. Because you are not becoming something new. You are remembering who you were before the world told you to forget.
You are not becoming something new. You are remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss is just how much of a fucking miracle that we are. You know, like when you think back to when you were a kid, I know it's hard to go back that far for some of us, but you looked at the world much differently. And then all of a sudden you're put into this school in this classroom and this desk with this dipshit teacher in front of you. Some teachers are good, most are dipshits. But all you hear all day is no, don't do this, don't do that, don't walk in there, you can't say that, you can't do this. And it just kind of just continuously shrinks you for the next 20 years of your life. And it's very difficult to get back to who you were before all that happened. It's almost impossible. But I just really like thinking about it that way, in the sense that you are not becoming something new. You're remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. Because we are. We're miracles here. And the amount of energy and power that we have that we just don't really realize that we have is incredible. And I really like thinking about it like God's highest form of creation. We're not going to get religious here, but we are. We are God's highest form of creation. That means that everything else on this planet that we know, that we walk on, nothing compares to us. The abilities that we have, the power that we have, the energy that we can direct. And when we direct that energy properly, we can do things unfathomable. But that's the key here, is that we're not turning into something new here. We're remembering who we are. And I think that once you kind of go back to that, everything changes from that point. But it's hard because we went through 20 years of it, 20 years of being told no, 20 years of brainwashing, 20 years of, and beyond that, because then you go into college and university and your job, and it's just like nonstop for the rest of your life being told that you can't do things. But it's like, that's not what we're here for. So I really like that concept. Not becoming something new, but remembering who you were before the world told you to forget.
You were born magnetic. You were born abundant. You were born chosen. Now, finally, it is time to walk as if you know it. The wealth you seek isn't just outside you. It's orbiting you right now, waiting, watching, listening for a frequency it can follow. So set the signal, train your aura, and let the world chase you.
I was kind of watching the number of people in here, and it's funny. It's funny that people tune into this and they're just like, nah, not for me. But I get it. And that's kind of what I started the show with today, is that not everybody's going to be on the same kind of energy and frequency as me today. And that's okay. But that's why I'm saying you should bookmark this video, because at some point you are going to kind of be in this mindset that I'm in right now, this frequency that I'm on right now. And I want you to bookmark this and come back to it, revisit it often. Because again, all this stuff happens through repetition. It's one thing to watch an hour and a half of a video, some guy in an orange hoodie talking about this stuff, but you have to do this very consistently, very repetitively. And that's the whole point of the underrated channels. I've been putting out videos every day. So you can go back, you can listen to them. You can take 15 or 20 minutes every morning and just put that on, because again, there's going to be no negativity there. And you're going to set yourself into a creative frequency. And I'm not doing this so that you can listen to the words that I say or that Napoleon Hill says or the author of Napoleon's book. The idea here is to get on a different frequency, to get onto a frequency where you're open to new ideas, you're open to creativity. Because once you start forming those and you do that consistently, you're going to be amazed what comes to you. Again, you're not chasing things here. You're opening yourself up. You're believing in yourself, and all this stuff is going to flow to you by doing these habits. Best Bitcoin podcast ever. Wow. Patricia Moore. That's nice to hear. Thank you. Sorry, I've kind of been off the comments and everything here. Obviously, I wanted to get through that first. But yeah, the other thing I was going to say here is Nav. There's not many rules around here. We don't have many rules on the show and in the chat. I don't think I've ever banned anybody, even fucking Bitcoin baby. But the only rule is you have to be respectful. And I don't know if you were joking with this comment that you made to Mika, but you have to be respectful. And I'm not going to kick you out, but I'm just saying, please. That's the only rule that we have here. Be respectful, especially to the women. The men can The men can take it. I'm okay if you're going to be disrespectful to the fellas, but be respectful to the women. Okay, so we got a couple zaps that I missed here. We got Conrad zapped 963 units of freedom. Says, good morning, everyone. I'm late to the party, but good to be here. Solar Satoshi says, I'm prepared. Nice. That a boy. I feel like I'm working on it. I want to be more prepared. David T zapped 420 and 420. Says, good morning and amazing words from Napoleon Hill. I love that. Absolutely love that. So I'm going to share a couple different links here for everybody. I'm going to share that video. Again, if you don't want to watch the whole hour and a half with me, that's okay. It was a half an hour video, but I do encourage you to revisit that as much as you can, as much as you have the ability to. Again, you don't have to do anything crazy in your life. Just tune in. Tune into it. Tune in. Get on the right frequency every single morning. You'll be amazed what happens. And you can just simply do it by turning this stuff on. And again, that's what I'm saying. You don't need to really listen to my words. That's the funny thing is there's probably close to 100 people watching this right now between YouTube, Rumble, and Noster. And not everybody's listening to the words that I say. They're just not. They might have it on. It might be in the background while they're doing something. But when you put stuff like this on, even if you're not listening to the words that I'm saying, you're getting on a different frequency. You're getting on a higher frequency. And all of a sudden you start changing your thoughts and your thoughts go to this direction. And you start getting in these ideas and this information that you wouldn't have had otherwise if you were blocked by that. So whether it's me or Napoleon Hill or anybody else, I'm not expecting you to hear in every single word that I say. The point is to put this stuff on and you're going to tune yourself into a different frequency. And some of the things that you come up with and some of the things that the universe sends to you are going to change your life. It's happened for me. And for me, the place where I do my best thinking is the shower. And so if I'm in the shower, I'm not putting on music. I'm not putting on a sports game. I'm not putting on the news or the latest of anything. I'm putting on this kind of stuff because I'm trying to set myself in the right frequency. And it doesn't really matter what's being said. I might hear some words, but I'm kind of going in and out of the frequency there. I'm going into my own. I might hear something that triggers a thought that I would have been blocked by if I was listening to music or talk radio or the latest news. I never would have got some of these ideas. But because I'm listening to this stuff, I'm more open to it, more receptive to it. So that's what I would say. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all the comments here because I wanted to talk about something else and kind of that ties into this. And I think that the one thing for me that I've started doing recently, and it was actually inspired by a guy named Robin Sayer. I'm sure most of you have seen and heard from him before. But when he said it, it sounded kind of crazy to me. And I kind of made my own version of it. But he said that every morning he wakes up and he looks at his bank balance. And I don't know if he said that on his podcast before. I forget where it might have been in my interview with him. But when I first heard that, I was like, I've never done that before. So it's one of those things where if it's so different than what you're used to, it stands out in your mind. It triggers something emotionally and psychologically inside your head that you think back to it and you kind of expand on it once in a while. And so kind of my idea that I've started to do that I've never done before. And that's why when people have asked me before, Jor, how much Bitcoin do you have? Obviously, the number one rule in Bitcoin is to never tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have. But I would always say, like, I literally don't know. I don't know because I'm never really focused on the number there. I'm just trying to do as much as I can. And eventually that will grow inherently. But then I kind of realized something because kind of going back to what Napoleon was talking about there, where the universe doesn't, what was it? What was the quote? It said the universe doesn't reward confusion. It rewards clarity and alignment. And so kind of what I was saying there is I would start my days, I would start my mornings, and I would feel very wealthy. Again, because I'm tuned into this. And then in the afternoon, I'd have to pay some bills or I'd have to do something. I'd look into my bank account. And if you're a Bitcoiner, a very allocated Bitcoiner, you don't keep much cash in the bank. And so that's the confusion, because you feel very wealthy, you know what you're holding, you have the conviction there, but then you still have to operate in the fiat world. And so that was the confusion for me. And so I want to ask you this. Because Bitcoiners, for the most part, what they do is they go to work, they provide value to the world, and they store that value in Bitcoin. Not many people spend their Bitcoin very often. I do when I have to. If I have to sell some Bitcoin to pay for an expense, I have to sell Bitcoin. That's just reality, because I'm, again, heavily allocated to Bitcoin. But here's the thing. Here's the disconnect, and here's what I want you to think on. If you saw your bank account every morning you checked your bank account, and you just saw it going up and up and up and up and up, how would you feel? You'd probably feel pretty fucking good. And when you feel good, that translates to what we were talking about here, is the aura that you have. So if that's the case, if you saw your bank account going up and the next day there was more in there and it never really went down, it just went up and up and up. And then I was like, that's how most Bitcoiners are. That's, if you look at your Bitcoin wallet, that's what you would see. You would see it going up and up and up. And if you saw that in your bank account, you would be over the moon. You would start to believe that, hey, I'm wealthy. I am this, everything that I'm envisioning here is going to come true. But we don't. And that's the whole disconnect here. That's the confusion, is that we don't look at our balance of sats. Even though we know one sat is going to have the purchasing power of $1 one day, we still don't fully believe that ourselves, because we don't see our Bitcoin wallet and our fiat bank account as the same, but we should. In fact, we should even put more credibility towards our Bitcoin balance, because they're the only units that are actually real. And so what I've started to do is every morning I actually look at my Bitcoin balance. And it doesn't have to be exact. I'm not down to the exact sat here. I probably have wallets that I wrote 12 words down for 3 years ago, and I don't even know that I have them. But the point is to get yourself into that frequency. You get yourself into that alignment with wealth. Again, just imagine that. If you looked at your bank account, you logged into your online banking, and every day it went up and it went up and it never really came down. Could you imagine how good you would feel? But that's literally what we're creating here in Bitcoin. And again, 90% of people, they take their profits, take their value, put it into Bitcoin, their balance goes up, but they never really think about it. That's the confusion here with everything. And so I want to challenge you to do that. And again, keep it approximate. Even if you buy Bitcoin, let's say that your DCA's bought 15,023 Bitcoin today. Just put 15,000. Or if your DCA got 24,352, just put 23,000. Just like round down, keep it approximate. But the point is you're going to get yourself on that frequency of seeing your wealth go up. Because I feel like myself anyways, I just kind of send all this stuff to Bitcoin, and then it's just in a completely different place, almost out of my mind, where if I can see it and I can see that balance increasing, then I'm going to increase my self-belief, and I'm going to increase everything around me, the vibration that I'm on, the aura that I have. So it's there. It's just that we don't think about it enough. We don't look at it enough. We don't look at it the same way as we look at fiat. And I think that's the whole problem here. That's the whole disconnect. And going back to that again, the universe doesn't reward confusion. It rewards clarity. And so that every time you look at your fiat, the fiat price of Bitcoin, that's confusing to you. You're confusing yourself. Right? I think so. Maria says, hey, everyone, I'm trying to listen while I dig holes. Good morning, Maria. And thank you very much for the zap there. We got 5,000 units of freedom from Maria. Thank you, Maria, very much. You know, when I do shows like this, they're obviously a little bit, but that's what it is. I don't really care too much. I'm not doing it for the zaps today, but I do very much appreciate that, Maria. Thank you. Okay, what else do we got here? We got Joe in the house. We got Vic says I sold. I'm going to go through some of these comments. I'm going to skip some of the silly ones, but we'll go through some of these. Vic says I sold my car yesterday. Immediately bought some sats, but I think I'm buying too expensive. Not sure what you mean. Sin, morning, Sin. Good to see you, buddy. User QM9ZN says, I've been struggling to buy more sats because I lost my job, but I'm glad I'm having some extra time to do that. Once you understand what you're holding, you don't get scared by the price going down. Damn. This seems like a guy or a girl, but that's it. That is kind of already living the last hour and a half that we talked about here. I love that. Once you understand what you're holding, you don't get scared by the price going down. And I think once you get to a certain level, you just realize that there really is no price. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still working on this myself. And that's why I wanted to do this video, not just for the people watching, but for myself as well. But you'll come to see that there is really no price. And if you think about it that way, just like you look at your bank account and see units in your bank account that you put way too much emphasis on. And then you look at your Bitcoin balance. And just imagine that. I think about this all the time myself. I'm like, if I wanted to become a millionaire, how long would it take me to do in fiat land? A very long time. But how long would it take me in Bitcoin land? And if I'm under the belief, if it's my theory that eventually one of these units of Bitcoin will have the purchasing power of one of these units of fiat, and if you can convert, if you can spend like 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever it is, any amount of dollars, you convert that to sats, you're going to become a millionaire much quicker. You're going to attain 1 million units of Bitcoin much faster. And so when you think about it that way, it just completely changes everything. So again, you go to work today, you take the $50 that you had, that you got, less your expenses, maybe you have $50 net at the end of the day, you put that into Bitcoin. 50 units, you just traded for almost 50,000 units of Bitcoin. Imagine getting paid $50,000 in a day. You'd feel pretty good, right? You'd feel pretty damn good. And the crazy thing is when the Bitcoin price goes up, everybody's feeling good, but they don't understand that they're actually being paid less in real units. So you go to work, you exert the exact same amount of energy, but the price of Bitcoin went up, you actually get paid less. For the exact same day, doing the exact same stuff, you get paid less in real units. That's the whole disconnect here, and that's a confusion. The universe doesn't reward confusion. It rewards clarity and alignment. And so you really need to work at this. This takes a lot of work. This isn't something you're just going to watch today's video and just be like, oh, yeah, everything's changed for me. But it's these small things throughout the day that add up to something very massive in terms of your overall perception. Scotty Boy Zap 99 said, nice try. I'm not rounding my zaps up to 100. Thank you, Scotty. MDR 8 says, think we got to be prepared psychologically in the midterm. 2026 could be tough, but usually whatever everyone thinks bearish ends up being wrong. Yep. Agree. But again, you're still measuring it in fiat terms. You're still thinking about the price going up and down in fiat terms. That's what this whole episode was about today. Having some time to think and research is invaluable. Our work takes a lot of bandwidth away from us and keeps us poor. 100%. 100%. Thoughts on Epstein being confirmed as Satoshi? Nav says we can curse on YouTube chat. Yes, you can, I believe. I thought that was usually censored, but it looks like you can. Lots of F-bombs on there. Every drop in fiat is an opportunity. If you can't carry a jug of water, you can't carry a bucket of water. If you can't carry a jug of water, you can't carry a bucket of water. Same goes with money and wealth. 100%. Yeah, if you can't manage and believe in yourself with what you have, how are you going to do that when you have 100x of it? Great point, Cypher. And every drop in fiat is an opportunity. It's not only an opportunity, but again, if you value Bitcoin properly, it means you're actually getting more, I guess, which is an opportunity. But again, you go to work, you exert the exact same amount of effort day to day, but the price of Bitcoin goes up, you get paid less. You get paid less real units. Okay, what else we got? VHF, good morning. Funny how people only pay for advice they like to hear instead of reality. Yeah, that's also very true. Very true. Zebras, Stripes is here. Good morning, beautiful zebra. Good to see you, my friend. Plastics here. Jen's here. Everybody's here. Good morning, Jen. I'm in the background. No problem. Be a sovereign individual and run your own Bitcoin full node with self-host Electrum server, preserving the privacy of the user's addresses and balances. Does Jor have a seed center tutorial? No, I don't. BTC Session does, yes. Okay, Solar's over here. He says, I'm so sick. I hope everyone's feeling well. I'm feeling fine, buddy. Thanks for coming by, even though you're under the weather. Kapil Gupta, MD. That guy's mind-blowing with his outlook on life. He has some interviews, podcasts on YouTube. Interesting. Never heard of him. Kapil Gupta. MD. Medical doctor. Jake says, like my dad used to say, don't let the assholes get you down. If you have time one morning, try Kapil Gupta with Naval. Nice. Naval is a shitcoiner. Bitcoin generations. Hey, Bodie. I don't know if he's still here or not, but good to see you, Bodie. Traveling today. Hope you got some safe travels. Did you read Think and Grow Rich? Yes. Mika says, at what point can we enjoy the fruits of our investment without feeling guilty for using it to live on, to be able to decouple ourselves from the fiat working world? At what point can we enjoy the fruits of our investment without feeling guilty for using it to live on? I don't think you should ever feel guilty for it. It sucks. You should. I think it's a different feeling of like, sucky versus guilty. Because again, I talk about this all the time, but it's like money is just energy. That's all it is. And I think that whether you're looking at buying things with Bitcoin or having to spend your Bitcoin on things, it doesn't really matter. And that's what I always say, like, whether you pay somebody in fiat or you pay somebody in Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. All that you're doing there is you're sending value to somebody else. Any energy that you've accrued and stored, you're sending it to somebody else for what you want from them. Think about that. You really have to understand that. It doesn't matter how you pay somebody. It could be in fiat. It could be in Bitcoin. You're sending them value either way. You're sending them some of the energy that you've accrued in the form of money, however you're holding it. So it doesn't matter how you send it to them. You're just sending them value. Doesn't matter what the form is. Doesn't matter what the form is. And just like if you're a business owner, it doesn't matter how you accept value. Somebody could pay you in fiat, or somebody could pay you in Bitcoin. If you receive Bitcoin, you can convert it into fiat. If you receive fiat, you can convert it into Bitcoin. It does not matter how you pay people or how you receive money. That doesn't matter. The point is that you're sending and receiving value from somebody else. The only thing that matters is how you store that value. And that's what we use Bitcoin for. So all that you're doing with Bitcoin is you're storing some of that excess energy that you have in a perfect battery. So you shouldn't look at it as like having to sell your Bitcoin and feeling guilty about that. That's just value. Bitcoin is just the tool that you're using to store that value. And so if you need something, then you buy it. If you want to go on a vacation and enjoy the short, scarce time that we have here, you do that. It's the game here isn't to accrue as much Bitcoin as we can. The game here is to add as much value to the world as we can, store it properly in an effective battery, which is Bitcoin, and then use it as you need to and enjoy your life, because we're not here for very long. So you should never feel guilty about it. You should never feel guilty about that. Patricia, best Bitcoin podcast ever. Gronky Tonk says, I'm glad I came back to your show today. I've been watching daily Stoic stuff and it helped me become a more calm person. And this is right along those lines. Amen. Amen. Yeah, so I guess I should share that the video that we watched today, just in case anybody out there wants to watch it. Obviously, you're going to have this video today if you want to bookmark it and come back to. But here's that Napoleon Hill clip. I'll share that with YouTube, with Rumble, with Noster. And the other thing that I'm going to share here is the channel. And Gronky Tonk, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. That's kind of why partially why I wanted to do the show today. But I created a new channel on YouTube, and it's called Underrated. And the description is a journey to natural wealth through timeless principles. So that's the whole idea here, building natural wealth through timeless principles. So we tap into the old minds of Napoleon Hill, of the Earl Nightingales, of the Thomas Edisons, the Henry Fords. That's the idea. And we kind of apply it to the new world that we're moving into. We're moving back onto a hard money standard. And so kind of what we're using the Underrated channel for is to kind of prepare ourselves for that. And I figured this video today with Napoleon talking about what he did was a perfect kind of congruence of Bitcoin and the new channel, 88 Sats Radio and Underrated channel. So I'm guessing most people are already following along with that channel. But again, I'm not going to tell you to go over there and subscribe or go over there and like the videos. I'm going to tell you to turn one of those videos on every morning and just see what changes in your life. Put on an Underrated video. I make them about 15 or 20 minutes. I don't want to make them too long because I know people don't have that much time, especially when they're kind of in that mode. So 15 or 20 minutes, just throw it on. Again, you don't have to listen to my words. You don't have to listen to Napoleon Hill's words, but you get yourself in that frequency and have a notepad sitting beside you. That's the most important part, because while you're listening to this stuff, you're going to have new thoughts and ideas come into your brain that you wouldn't have had otherwise because you're tuned into a different frequency. So that's what I would encourage you to say. Again, I don't give a shit if you subscribe, don't care if you like the videos, but just throw one of those videos on every single morning and have a notepad right beside you and do that for like a month, 2 months, and all of a sudden you're going to build it into your routine. And I really think that that's going to have a massive impact on everybody who's willing to do it. Look at this from Sats and Sunsets. It says, the odds of you being born are 1 in 400 trillion. The odds of death is certain. Yet we treat life like certainty. Tomorrow always comes, right? Amen. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I didn't think you were a mean person or a rude person. Nav says, my bad. I read the name, thought it was probably a dude. No problem. But yes, because it is different when you call a guy a bitch versus a woman a bitch. So I see the misunderstanding there. I forgive you. I want to make again, we don't really have any rules around here. People can say whatever they want and think whatever they want and put that in the live chat. And I don't know if I've ever banned anybody actually, but we got to be respectful, especially to the women. So we are just not going to address the elephant in the room. You're missing the whole point here, buddy. My bank balance always zero for reasons you probably know. Scotty says, my stack has done nicely since I started watching some guys from Canada. Good man. People who I thought got it think Epstein is Satoshi. My mom threw me out of the house because I bought more sats. Another frog. Good morning, another frog. Says Friel, next day will tell us that Q is Epstein. It's a psyop all the way down, folks. Never ends. Johnny says, I've been listening to Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale for a couple of years now. You could say it's changed to me. I see the world completely differently. Amen. Amen. And that's, when you think about it that way, it's like you could have two equal people. You could have somebody with this amount of fiat, this amount of Bitcoin, basically a clone of yourself. And that's why I like to think about it that way. I like to think about it as like, how we've always heard the angel on one side and the devil on the other side. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's actually the old version of you and the version that you want to become. And every single day, you're going to face all these different decisions where you have a choice. And you either listen to the person you're becoming or the person that you were. Every time you decide something, those are the two voices in your head. Am I going to work out today? The old self is saying, yeah, you know what? We had a pretty tough day today. I'm kind of feeling shitty. I didn't eat properly today. And that's what keeps you who you are. That one. And on the flip side of things, you have the person who you want to become. And if you can tell yourself, fuck that shit, we're doing this today. I don't care how I feel. We're doing this today. Every one of those decisions, every time you do that to yourself, that builds your discipline muscles. Every time you decide to watch a stream like this, whether it's Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, instead of tuning into the news and the latest bullshit around Bitcoin and the latest going on in this country, every time you decide to do that, you're strengthening yourself. You're building your self-belief and you're building your conviction. And that's kind of the key to this whole thing. So you could have two different clones of each other with much different perceptions of the world. One lives very happily, not even happily, but free. One's free. And one's very restricted by the limitations that the world puts on them. And those limitations come in a lot of different ways. It comes at school, it comes at work, it comes when you look at the fiat price of Bitcoin. Those are all limitations and just complete nonsense, really. And so that was the reason why I wanted to make the video today, to kind of get people thinking differently. And again, that's awesome that you've been doing that for a couple of years, because that's how long it takes. Again, you're not going to be a changed man after watching today's show, but if you do it consistently, you will, slowly. So that's what I got for you today. I think I'm going to shut her down here because we're almost at 2 hours. And Scotty, we should still do our buy. We should still do our buy for today. Hope everybody enjoyed that show today. If not, sorry. Sorry for wasting your time. If you wanted to hear about how Epstein might be Satoshi, you tuned into the wrong frequency today. Oh yeah, where's the master tracker? Okay. Scotty, let me know where we're at. We don't have a whole lot to report today. But that's life, baby. We don't have a whole lot to report, but we do have our guy Praetorian. We have a Praetorian with a shot of espresso. We had Sats and Sunsets, and we had Maria. Some usual suspects there supporting the show. We do not have any sponsors here. We do not have any anybody telling us what we can and can't talk about, can or can't do. And so we are very reliant. This channel is very reliant on the people. So I do very much appreciate anybody who has supported today and anybody who has been supporting in the past. It literally keeps me showing up here every day. Okay, so we're down today, Scotty says. Are these dates right? I feel like they're not. Did we not? February 1st? This had to have been the 2nd. Yesterday we did the 88 lessons, so we didn't do one, or we did on a different spreadsheet. What? So what is down for us? $17. Nice. We're going to get some more. But going back to that even, like, just imagine you just looked at your bank account every day and it just went up. It never went down. And that's how you should be looking at your Bitcoin. Exact same way. You should have the same feeling looking at your Bitcoin balance as you do at your fiat balance. In fact, you should put more of an emphasis on your Bitcoin balance than your fiat balance. So here, what are we going to do? How much are we going to get today? If we're down from yesterday, I would expect that we get more than 15,000, which is wild. Four-day streak. Damn, that's sad. Okay, $17. Wow. Wow. We're almost at 100,000 Canadian dollars here. I never thought we would see the day. 16,733 sats. So I just traded 17 units of complete illusion the fakest, shittiest money the world has ever seen. I just traded 17 units of that for 16,733 units of absolute scarcity, 16,000 units of pristine collateral, 16,000 units of the best money that humanity has ever seen before. How good of a trade is that? Let's look back to when we started doing this. What did $17 get? 13,000. 13,000 sats. So I just gained, again, if you subscribe to the theory that at some point in the future here, one sat is going to have the purchasing power of $1. So in less than about 2 months, my salary went up, what is that? 13,000 to 16,000. Was that 17? Yeah. $3,000. My salary went up in 2 months because of the fiat price of Bitcoin going down. That is amazing. So very small actions done very consistently add up to something very large. That's why we do this every single day. Every sat that we have is a sat that they don't have. The people on the, I'm not even going to say it, but the people that we don't want to have the wealth, we can't stop them from buying Bitcoin. But what we can do is we can get as many of these sats as we can, because once we have these, they're in our possession. They can't print more of these. They can't control this network. And they can't stop this network. As hard as they try, as much bullshit as they throw at it, they cannot stop this. Every sat that we have is a sat that they don't have. It does not matter how much you buy. The only thing that matters is that you buy every single day. And so if you're watching this on YouTube right now or later, I highly encourage you to show up every morning. We do the Visionary Show every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to find it, you can find it. I'm not going to make it easy for you. But I challenge you to, because we do this every single day. Every single day we buy some. And when the price is up, we buy a little bit less. When it's the same, we buy our normal amount. And when the price is down, we buy more. So that's part of showing up here every day. Who's the MOB today? Who is the MOB today? I think Sats and Sunsets. Or, tough one today. We got Sats and Sunsets or Lock Sky. 5 memberships. It's about the same, but we don't do ties here. So I'm going to give it to Sats and Sunsets. And mostly because he's here every day. He's put in the proof of work in my mind. So today, so far, Sats and Sunsets is the champion. Subject to change up until 10 a.m. tomorrow. This is still up for grabs, but for now, Sats and Sunsets is our most outstanding Bitcoiner. And as it says here, subjective. I get to decide. We have no ties. Fuck ties. And we don't have any angels here today. None of the angels are in attendance today for arguably the best show we've ever done. But that's okay. We'll be back here tomorrow. There he is right there. Sats and Sunsets got 13,000 sats for $10. Wow. Scotty got 100,000 sats of Lombard Demon Hunting FUs for 11,000 yen. Very nice. Praetorian says, I was watching the new series on Disney, and they mentioned, what's Disney? I'm assuming you meant Disney, but I don't know why they would ever talk about that on a Disney show. I was watching the new series on Disney, and they mentioned, I don't know what, I'm assuming Praetorian will elaborate on that. And David T got 56,000 freedom units for $42. Wow. That is massive for the network. That is massive for the average people. And David T also zapped 420 units of freedom for that. Thank you, my friend. Okay, well, let's wrap her up here. We're just about at 2 hours. I want to say thank you, everybody, for showing up today. Again, check out the Underrated channel. You can find it quite easily if you're looking for it. I just shared the link here a little while ago. If you're watching this later, I'll have all these links that I mentioned in the pinned comment here on YouTube. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, consider come into the daily streams that we do, the Visionary Show. You got people in the chat here who show up every single day, and we're building something special here. So that's what I got for you today. Thank you very much for being here, and we will be back here tomorrow, or not here, but somewhere. Bye-bye.